Hey everyone! Today, we are going to look at places with the lowest property taxes. Keep in mind that lower taxes in some cases may lead to lower quality in public goods like education, emergency services, and infrastructure. But nonetheless, living in one of these states may save you some of your hard-earned money. Now, let's get started examining the 10 states that have the lowest property tax rates in all of America. Wyoming. The state of Wyoming has the lowest overall population of any state in America, even though it's the 10th largest in size. Wyoming has one of the lowest tax burdens of any state in the country, so it may not surprise you that they voted most conservatively of any state in the 2020 presidential election. They have no state income tax and below average sales tax. The nice thing is actually, with all these other savings, they're the 10th lowest in property taxes too. The average effective property tax rate in Wyoming is 0.61%. They don't really have the need for a bunch of tax revenue due to the lack of entitlement programs and the natural resources the state profits from. Nevada. Nevada is the second and last state on this list that doesn't have an income tax. Their sales tax in Las Vegas can be a bit steep, but most of the state is pretty reasonable. Their average effective property tax rate is 0.6%. The state's low tax burden is primarily subsidized from taxes on tourism in Las Vegas, but the state itself is actually very rural, and 81% of the state of Nevada is federally owned, so much of the state isn't available for expansion, except for small pockets. That's why the population is so concentrated in Las Vegas and Reno metro areas. West Virginia. West Virginia isn't the richest state in the country, and is often the butt of jokes because of their poverty and poor education scores. However, if you live there and don't make a lot of money, you probably appreciate the fact that their taxes are low. Their income tax isn't gonna break the bank, and they have lower sales tax as well. But their property tax rates average a staggering low 0.58%. Many would argue that underfunded schools and public goods are a portion of the economic struggles being experienced here. But it's really hard to argue that people having such a hard time making it should be contributing more of their hard-earned income toward taxes. Delaware. This state is famous for being a really positive place to conduct business. They were also the first state to ratify the U.S. Constitution in late 1787, and they just beat out Rhode Island to avoid being the smallest state in America. Their land mass is not the only thing that is small though. Their tax bill is one of the smallest in the country. The state has an average property tax rate that is 0.57%. Fortunately, that's not the only way that they save here. They have no sales tax in the state, and they have a pretty standard income tax amount too. There's a reason their population grew over the last decade. Residents in this state enjoy some of the lowest taxes in the northeastern part of the country. South Carolina. Now, no one is shocked that a state like South Carolina is on this list. They're known for having a low cost of living and reasonable taxes. Their income tax rate and sales tax can be a bit higher than you would expect, but the property tax rate is great. South Carolina's effective property taxes come to 0.57% and are tied with Delaware for the 6th lowest rates in the country. This state's low cost of living has encouraged many outsiders to move to the state recently, and if their prices remain low and their economy continues to get better, they actually may start getting some pretty serious population increases in the near future. Washington, D.C. Now, the nation's capital is obviously not a state, but I still thought it could be worth putting it up here because it's its own entity and has great property tax rates. The average effective property tax rate is 0.56%, and this is really low and causes a great balancing effect for a place that can have a really high income tax for top earners. Residents here are pretty affluent on average, but the prices for ownership here are obscenely high and really price out low-wage earners in the district anyway. Many people live outside of the district and commute to take advantage of their high income, but live in a more affordable area. Louisiana. Louisiana is the state with the fourth lowest property taxes in the country. They also have some of the lowest housing costs as well. So if you're a high earner, this state can save you money. Their income taxes are reasonable, but their sales taxes have a really wide variance. It can get up to 11% in some areas, and that pulls up the average that would definitely be lower. The property tax rate in Louisiana is 0.55% on average. This rate makes the state a pretty low cost of living compared to many places, but there are pockets of the state that have really high crime and low job opportunities as well. So be careful where you decide to move. Colorado. Coming in at third place is Colorado. Now, this state is one of the most desirable places to live in all of America, and honestly, I wasn't expecting to see them this high on the list. From 2010 to 2020, this was a top 10 most moved to state because of their booming economy, outdoor recreation opportunities, and beautiful scenery. Their average effective property tax rate is only 0.51% here. Like Louisiana, they have a huge variance in their sales tax rate here and can also eclipse 11%. But don't worry, Denver isn't that high. They have a flat rate for their income tax of 4.63%, which again helps you not to break the bank here. So taxes aren't going to discourage many from moving to Colorado unless the legislature starts really pushing the envelope to higher taxes in the near future. Before we get into the two states with the lowest property taxes, I posted links in the description so you can research more about property taxes. Also, make sure to click that thumbs up and subscribe if you want more interesting videos about places and economic conditions in America. Alabama. This state has pockets that have definitely been experiencing growth as of late. They have seen a surge in their economy and job markets. The property taxes are probably a significant reason for that. The property tax rate averages 0.41% for the state. Now, before you pick up and move, they do allow localities to add quite a bit onto both sales and income taxes. State sales taxes are some of the lowest in the country, but once the local taxes is added on, they are near the top 10 most expensive on average. The income tax for anyone who makes around median income will range somewhere between about 5 to 7%. But look into their standard deduction system. You may be able to save money here and have a better financial outlook than the rough numbers may indicate. And the state with the cheapest property taxes in the US is Hawaii. The average effective property tax rate is 0.28%. Hawaii is the best option for people looking to save money on property taxes, but there are a couple major problems. First, income taxes are some of the most expensive in all of America, and not just for the top tiers either. Secondly, Hawaii is the most expensive state to purchase a home, so the prices and high income taxes aren't likely to make the Hawaiian dream available to the average person. Even many high earners have a second house here to take advantage of the low property taxes, but they would live in a place that doesn't punish them quite as much fiscally. Well, what did you think of the list today? Comment down below if anything surprised you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, take care.